Welcome to the Vigor Life Podcast, a source of inspiration, lessons, stories, skill sets, mindsets, and strategies to invigorate and expand all areas of your life. Let's go. What's going on, and welcome to episode 1 of the Vigor Life Podcast with me, Luka, Hocevar. I always love to say that, especially with this nice, cool-ass microphone in front of my face. What this episode is going to be about is actually a question that I got going live on Facebook, which to me is crazy that I can click a button, right? Pretty much click a button here and go live on Facebook. I'm going to even post a picture later on of doing that. To be able to get feedback that fast, it's crazy. I mean, how connected we are now. And it has pluses and minuses, which we're not going to cover today. But the question it was a great question from Fred Thornton. It was, talk about the security versus insecurity of being an entrepreneur. Now, because this is more, like I said, more than a training podcast, it's a lifestyle podcast. It's a how do you get ahead in life and live the best possible life podcast. I'm going to answer that question, especially because it relates to so much other stuff that we're going through, whether it's our bodies, whether it's our connection to the source or God or whatever it may be, whether it's to our relationships or our businesses. And the word is responsibility. So I'm going to come back to this when it relates to the question. And the question, like I said, is like security and insecurity of being an entrepreneur. Well, you got to take responsibility. See, the thing is, when you're running a business, I mean, you could point fingers. It's not going to do you any good, right? It's whether you can't make payroll, it's on you. Whether you can't pay the bills at the end of the month, it's on you. If clients aren't getting a great experience, it's on you. If you're not getting clients the best results, it's on you. If you fuck up, it's on you. It's on you. And the finger is always like pointing out, and then turn it towards yourself. And see, there's power in that. Like, there's humongous power in that. But at the same time, there's also humongous pressure. And, I think that a lot of the things that you don't hear maybe talking about nowadays is the anxiety and depression that's prevalent in entrepreneurism. And I can tell you that I've been dealing with that more so in the last 3 years than ever. The roller coaster of personal relationships and business and taking care of yourself and being able, being responsible for people working for you and things like that. It's an insane amount of pressure. And the thing is, you can't really escape it, right? It's not one of those things where you can just go, all right, well, this month I'm just gonna take a seat and I'm just gonna chill. What I'm gonna do, 2 weeks, I'm just gonna not think about this. Like, you have to make things happen. Now, of course, you can bring a business to a point where it's systemized and all these different things. And that's the goal, is for it to be structured and systemized. But you always got to develop. You always got to do stuff. So, right, there's security. Now, here's where the security lies. The security lies in that, I know it's on me. Now, I believe that if everybody in their life would take that responsibility on themselves and go, if you work for someone, with your fitness, with your body, with your relationships, with your money, with your kids, where you go, it's on me, right? It's on me. It's my responsibility to take care of these things. It gives you power. You see, the thing is, as soon as you start pointing fingers, when I say, hey, it's on Gene, or, he didn't do this, or my team isn't doing this, man, you take the power away. Now, that doesn't mean that everything is going to go your way. It doesn't mean that people don't leave, that relationships don't break up, that, the gap is created where the gap is just too big and there's no more connection or whatever it may be, right? But at the end of the day, you always have the choice. You always have the responsibility to do or not do. And I think there's humongous power in that, and I think there's huge growth in that, because you can't really avoid it, right? With being an entrepreneur, it's you can't avoid it. Don't get me wrong. But if you do, everything goes to shit. It collapses, right? Unless, and I think everybody's goal is to bring it to a point where you can create your own company that has security and systems and people and a network and other, others that can take, I would say take the lead. But in the U.S. right now, majority, like I said, is built by majority small business, and small businesses most of the time, like I said, are very kind of, whether it's family running it or a very small amount of people. So with that answer, I hope that the point that I'm making is that, it is scary. It is, the resistance is crazy. And I can tell you the amount of days I get up and I feel completely overwhelmed by the amount of things that I have to do. And, I'll give you an example of this day. And maybe this is not every day isn't like this for me, but, I worked till 3:00 in the morning because I had to do a presentation for tonight's seminar at Vigor. I get up, I work on a PowerPoint for the PAC webinar, which is our consulting group webinar. So we're talking about, 150 slides already since, 10 p.m. last night, created and outsourced. Then I wanted to shoot this content right now with Gene and shoot this podcast because I committed to it. And I wanted to do the work of what I said that I'd do. So I ran down here. Now we're shooting this. And from here, I'm going to somewhere where I have peace so I can finish off the presentation for tonight. I'm going to the presentation for tonight. It's done at 9. I'm going to train for about an hour and a half. It'll be 11 p.m. And then I'm going to try to relax a little bit. And then I fly out to Charlotte tomorrow morning to be with Martin Rooney and my friend Krebsy to run the training for his mastermind. Now, this is not every day, but there's many, many, many days in a month where it's like that. And the thing is, there's always a choice. Well, I'm not going to do this. But then the people sign up for the seminar. They're going to be pissed off. And if I don't do this and this and that, then, we can't pay the bills. Responsibility. Security versus insecurity. I think the most secure thing in the world is to take control of your own life and not give your life to anyone else and not give your health to anyone else and not give your decisions to anyone else for them to take advantage of and go like, oh, well, my boss or my kids or my wife. You are in control of you. And that's the only thing you're in control of. And like I said, one of the greatest books that's changed my life is Byron Katie's Loving What Is, where she says, there's 3 types of business. There's your business, other people's business, and God's business. And if we stick with our business, we don't really have a lot of stress there. But when we are in other people's business or God's business, it's raining and shit, right? You get stressed out. Those thoughts stress you out. So take your power back, take responsibility, right? Create your own security because that's more secure than somebody else making your decisions, right? And no matter what setting you're in, I don't care if it's at home, if it's at work and you work for someone else or you don't, because neither is good or bad. It just is. But you take responsibility of your life and not only will your stress go down, right? But a lot of great things will start happening because you'll gain power back. Like you literally snatch power back by going, it's on me. It's on me. It's my choice. I do this. Nobody else will decide it for me and choose it for me. All right, so I try to keep it as short as I can. You'll notice that I am not the best at keeping things very short, which can be good or bad sometimes. Hey, we're not perfect. But that was episode 1 of Vigor Life. And shoot your questions in because, like I said, when I'm here by myself, which I will be quite a bit, I'm going to be going off and answering these questions, giving you actual strategies, tools, and help to live your best life. And I'll be back with the next episode. And remember, if you're listening to this on iTunes, make sure you go over to YouTube so you can see my pretty face, or maybe if it's not pretty, I don't know, maybe you don't have to. But regardless, shoot over there, subscribe for our YouTube channel. And if you're on YouTube, go over to iTunes and subscribe to that because then you can be, driving your car, listening to the podcast and just improving your life. All right, this is Luka Hocevar. I am out and I will see you in the next episode.